there was a long-term storyline going on between Raven and Tommy. There were some weird spots going on, though. There was a spot where they're both outside, and Raven sees Tommy grab a beer from someone in the audience. He sees Tommy take a drink of the beer. He sees Tommy approaching with the beer in his mouth. He sees Tommy stop in front of him with the beer in his mouth. Tommy spits the beer in his face, and Raven is stunned by this eventuality. He's like, "Ah! My eyes! What? How did... Ah! And then, like, are you fucking stupid, Raven? What the fuck did you think was going to happen? Do you think he was just stopping for a beer break?" So, there was another really disturbing spot. The first blood of the night, second to last match, by the way, first person to bleed, was Tommy when he took a drop toe hold into the chairs. Then Raven started beating him up in front of Tommy's kids. His wife and kids were front row, sitting next to Dixie. And, like, Tommy's, like, bleeding all over the place. His face is covered in blood. And, like, I don't even know how old his kids are. I would say anywhere from, like, 6 to 8 years old. And they're seeing their daddy just gashed. Gashed fucking open. Raven is just going to work on him with, like, a cookie sheet, beating him over the fucking head, like, biting at the open wound on his head, like grabbing him by the head and, like, ah! And grabbing on his fucking head. And the kids are just... they're freaking out. Like... my God, who brings their kids to see? That's fucking disturbing. So they I don't know if it's part of this. They start escorting the kids out because maybe in that moment they realized that this was kind of a miscalculation. Like maybe they shouldn't really see their father being like just brutalized by Raven. But yeah, they got out of there pretty good. Probably the best spot of this match was when Tommy Dreamer put Raven in the crippler crossface, but he had a length of barbed wire that he was using to he put the barbed wire in his mouth and was like cranking back on it for the crippler crossface. That was actually a pretty cool spot. That was the second most hardcore thing to take place in this entire show. So, yeah. Hollywood Nova attack to save Raven. Raven starts arguing with Mick Foley, who attacks him with the fucking sock. And once again, I ask you, just imagine what would happen if Mick took the fucking sock out in the Hammerstein Ballroom. In fact, you don't have to imagine that. Go find One Night Stand and see what happens when Mick takes the fucking sock out. They boo the shit out of him. Not hardcore. Okay, then the funniest part of the night came out when Raven's getting his ass kicked, and some guy runs out and starts attacking and backing up Raven. And the crowd has no idea who this is. Even Taz starts saying, "Who the hell is that?" I didn't know who the hell that was until Mike Tenay very helpfully told us that that was Lupus. And even then I was like, who? Then I remembered. There was a guy in Raven's faction for a short while, I believe near the end of ECW, who dressed like a homeless dude, who was wearing like a bunch of like really baggy clothes, had like a sweater tied around his waist, had really long hair and like a hood that was always over his face, and he was always picking his nose. I think that was that guy. But the crowd started chanting, "Who are you?" That's not a good sign. When the crowd has no fucking clue who you are, and has never had any fucking clue who you are. I doubt Raven even remembered who this guy was when he came out. Beulah comes out and tries to save Tommy. Bunch of shenanigans. Tommy gets handcuffed until Raven finally takes out the injured knee and DDTs him on the chair. Raven wins.